And the Florida Panthers give the Rangers taste of their own medicine as they beat the Rangers in overtime 3-2. Series is back up even, tied up 2 games apiece. Didn't last very long in overtime. Mika Zibanejad is absolute garbage. Terrible play. Wheeler takes a penalty. Not that was Wheeler's fault because Mika's lost, and Rangers lose 3-2 in overtime. So avoid the chance of going back to the Garden to seal it up in 5. We knew this was going to be a tough series, but I don't know. It's just frustrating the way the Rangers are lose today's game. It's the same song and dance all over again with Mika and Kreider not even showing up to the rink. So, Joe, what are your thoughts on this one before we kind of break it down, I guess?
I mean, just first off, like they better be kissing Igor Shesterkin's ass. And dude, I don't know how much better he can play. And that's the scary part about this is they're getting dominated. Like, how can Igor really do this and to a more of an extent where he gives up less goals? I mean, what? It's just frustrating because he's playing so well and really nobody's shown up except Lafreniere. And I think Gaudreau's been good. Cooley, I thought it's been solid, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, their top guys are playing bad, and that is the difference, honestly, where their guys are playing bad and getting outworked.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. The Mika has been awful. Kreider, I mean, we appreciate you going out there and scoring 3 goals in Game 6, but I hope you realize that wasn't to win the Stanley Cup, dude. You got to show up for 2 more series still, and he hasn't even shown up. He's still in Carolina cherishing those goals. So I don't know what he's doing. It's to be honest with you, anytime they come onto the ice, the energy just gets sucked right out of the team. They come onto the ice and they get pinned in their own zone. They can't get out of their own zone. I mean, Florida's forecheck's good, but it's just, oh my God. I mean, this is like tonight is just, and it's happened a lot. I don't want to sound too negative. Losing sucks, especially when it's the same song and dance all over again. Why we're losing. It's the same reason over and over again. Every time we lose, it's the same garbage. But like, how many more times, how many more years have to go by where this team just leaves their goalie out to dry? Like, this was like what happened to Lundqvist all the time in the playoffs, where the forecheck, they can't clear the puck. They score. Lafreniere scores. That should have shifted momentum. And after that, like, it was all Florida. Florida dominated the period the rest of the way. Like when Laffy scores there, that should be momentum shift. You should be able to put more pucks on net and potentially win the game in the third period there, as opposed to scoring and then just sitting back and letting Florida put pucks and pucks and pucks onto Igor. And eventually it's going to break. They're playing a bend not break type style and defense. And eventually it's going to come back to bite you. It's great when Alex Wenberg tips it in, and it's great when Barclay Gaudreau snipes in a game too, but eventually you're going to lose one of these overtime games. It's going to suck. And now it's like you said, it's 2 or 3 now. We knew this was going to happen, but I don't know. I think this was probably the most frustrating loss of the series because the Rangers really had no business losing this game. The way they played in the first period, they completely just got outplayed in the second period. And Lafreniere scores in the third period. He's been great. And then after that, they get outplayed. So, again, we're sitting here talking about them getting outplayed in 2 or 3 periods, which is not a very winning recipe.
Another thing I kind of want to say, I don't think it was total reason why they lost, but the refereeing was brutally bad in this game.
Especially down like the final 20 seconds, they missed like 2 calls.
Kako kind of fell by himself, but somebody picked Zibanejad. They let Reinhart punch through the. The first penalty was mind-boggling. How they literally did the same thing 2 seconds, like a minute earlier, where Trouba was driving, then Kachuk like hip checks him into the board. Gustafsson just pushes him out, and they call that a penalty. Ridiculous. And then the hold on Lindgren was so bad. I mean, come on. He's pressuring up against him against the boards, and you're saying how could you hold someone when your hand's on your stick and it's straight, it wasn't wrapped around. The stick was on the ice, and just terrible call there. The only way they could beat Igor is either on the power play or fluky goals, which is whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, they won the game. They scored more goals. It doesn't matter how you do it, but they needed it. They I think now this was a must-win for the Panthers. I think the Rangers have to win on
Yeah.
and they're gonna have
Thursday.
to score.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to play better. They're not. I can't see a world where they win where Igor kind of just steals the game. I think they're gonna need to play hockey and not just wait for one or two lucky bounces or wait for Igor to make 50 save. Like they have to attack, and because if you're not going to attack, they're going to get grinded down. They're going to get the crap beat out of them, and they're just going to be done at the end of the series. And it just sucks because they had a good first period, and then they kind of just went away after that.
Yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised. And if there was a positive to take away from this game, and look, the series isn't over. But losing in the playoffs, especially in overtime, just sucks, especially when it's like we've already said here, it's the same guys that aren't producing that we've been talking about all year that have to produce in the playoffs, and here they are. Mika hasn't scored a goal since game 1 against Carolina. I mean, that's unacceptable. That can't happen. But not to keep harping on Mika and Kreider and stuff like that. We understand that, but in the first period, very good. I was actually pleasantly surprised the way they came out of the first. I thought Florida was going to come out with relentless forecheck, not really giving the Rangers much chances offensively, knowing that they're down 2-1, the way they lost the last 2 games in overtime, realizing we go down 3-1 going back to the Garden. That's basically a death sentence for us. I thought they would come out with much more energy, and the Rangers early on were the better. I mean, they were the better team. That was probably their best period they've played in definitely the best period they played in these. Well, technically,
It's been a while. I mean,
it's been 8 periods in 8 periods in
definitely the best period of this
Florida,
series.
technically.
I mean, I guess you could say maybe the third period in the Hurricanes game 6 was better because they scored 3 goals. But
yeah,
I mean, Mika's advantage a crossbar away from really taking control of that game early.
Yeah. And 2 is, Panarin's been a guy that we've talked about a little bit, kind of along the lines of those core players that need to step up. It was an excellent play by Panarin to feed it to Trocheck, who, snipes one past Bobrovsky and, take a 1-0 lead going into the second. And then you get the Bennett goal. And then 4 minutes later, you get the Verhaeghe goal. I thought they were a little fluky. It's unfortunate. The one power play couldn't clear the zone. They couldn't get the puck out. And the Bennett goal was just unfortunate. Kind of took a weird bounce off of Igor. And then I believe that was Miller that tried to get his stick in there to get it out, but it already crossed the line. So it's it's an unlucky bounce. Igor's the furthest thing from the Rangers' problem right in this game, but it just shows you more of why this one stings, because really two of the three Florida goals weren't even like Igor. They didn't even beat him clean. The power play was they couldn't get out of the zone. It took a couple deflections in front, and then the Bennett goal was just.
I mean, he really had no chance on the third goal.
No, yeah. Third goal beat him clean, I would say, right?
Yeah, I mean, he had no chance.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, bang. Like, I mean.
And at that point, I knew it once Wheeler took that penalty, game was over.
Yeah.
Unless if the Rangers worked up magic where they, had a 2-on-1 and on the penalty kill and scored a shorthanded goal. Gosh, imagine that. Imagine if they dude, Florida, talk about being done. There's no coming back from that if you're Florida. Allowing a shorthanded goal in overtime. Jeez. But
yeah, I mean the thing. This is the thing. Kreider's manager, Panarin. If they start playing well, they're going to win the series. Mm-hmm. If they don't do anything for the next 2-3 games, however many more games there's left, they're going to lose the series. And this is a huge. I'm telling you, they got to win Game 5. They have to win Game 5.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess maybe
you got to protect home ice.
I guess if we want to, the script says lose Game 5, though, right? Script says lose Game 5, and then somebody guarantees they're winning Game 6, and then you come back home and you win in overtime.
I know who. Maybe this time then we get another guarantee.
I could guarantee that Igor is gonna have to make like
Yeah,
40 saves.
Igor
But
would have to be the one that guarantees it because he's
imagine
the only
Igor
one that can
scores.
get. He's the
Like
only one
imagine
that
if,
you can
okay,
guarantee he's gonna
what would
show
your
up.
reaction be? Like what would your reaction be? I mean, it could have happened because it's on the penalty kill. If they're pressing whatever, the Rangers get one, they clear the zone on the power play on the penalty kill, and then they fire one in to go in forecheck, and Igor comes out, takes it, fires it down the other end, and like Bobrovsky like mishandles it, and it goes in. He scores an overtime goal.
Put his name up into the rafters for that.
Dude, he played so fucking good today. I mean, Jesus Christ, how much better could he play?
He was just sharp right from the start. You knew right from the start this was going to be a low scoring game where, it's going to be 2-1, 3-2, kind of one of these games where it was just going to be battle of the goalies. And fortunately, the Rangers just,
I also think
at some point, Ben Benoit break for a reason. At some point, you're going to break.
I don't think we'll see Wheeler's done. I don't think he's going to come. I think Hito's going to be back. So we'll see enough of him.
I'll give Wheeler credit though. I mean, it's for him to come all the way back.
I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
I give him. I mean, look,
I don't care if he had to freaking come back from the fucking, I don't know, both his legs are blown off, and he like regrows his legs.
I forget who said it. I don't know if it was somebody that said it. Might have been Emily Kaplan who said it pregame, or if it was somebody I saw on Twitter. But it's like, Wheeler playing tonight, Rangers are definitely winning. It's going to motivate the team, give him that fire. I'm like, yeah, right.
He was so bad, and he was so slow. I don't blame him for the.
Wheeler's not going to freaking energize the Rangers. Give me a break.
I don't blame him for the penalty he took. I think it's a good penalty, honestly.
Nah, that's Mika. It's all Mika's fault.
But yeah, what a horrible turnover.
Wheeler's not in. They're not in that situation. If Mika pulls his head out of his rear end,
just dump the fucking puck in the zone. Your guys are changing.
I don't know. I'm just so tired of the Mika talk every year. It's like at some point, dude, you gotta be. At some point, you just. This has been a grueling year for Mika. Like let's just say they go on. Can you even consider this playoffs a success? No.
If they lose this series.
No, like for Mika, like let's say they move on, but he doesn't do anything.
Well, I mean, if he like goes on a heater and like.
Yeah, but
you know what though? I will say
he's in his typical groove. He's going through that. He's going to go through another stretch of goals where he doesn't score a goal for the rest of the year.
He did play bad in the Penguin series first 4 games, and then he kind of turned it on 5 through 6. So maybe he turns it on, but it's very frustrating just because he's making a lot of mistakes. I think if you compare him and Kreider to Panarin, at least Panarin, I don't think he's making that many mistakes. He's not doing anything offensively.
Yeah, and Panarin, not that the assist the big deal, but he did have the assist today. He set up the Trocheck goal.
I don't care about that. I think that
I know, but he's doing. He was more productive than Panarin or more.
That's
productive
true,
than
but I'm just saying that like he hasn't been as bad where he isn't costing them. Where Zibanejad and Kreider look like a chicken with their head cut off. Like they're making terrible decisions, not playing good in the defensive zone, and then just not cycling the puck at all, which is a killer. It's funny that you look at like Kakko, who played very well in that first period, and then once he got put onto the Zibanejad line, he was boxed in for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I've said that forever. I know they had the stretch there with Buchnevich. We're going way back. We're a little bit back, but at some point you got to kind of look at yourself in the mirror, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so tough to play with Mika and Kreider." And we always point to the other guy, that right wing that has filled in, whoever that is, whether just this year it's Roslovic, Wheeler, Kakko, whoever the heck that's been this year. We've always blamed them, but at some point here, like as the years continue to go by, as the playoffs continue to go by, and performances like this continue to add up, at some point you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm the problem. Like they're the problem. It's Mika and Kreider, not Roslovic, not all these other guys that the Rangers bring in to try and, mesh with them. Everyone's like, oh, it's super hard to play with them. Yeah, sure. But like at some point, just like this, it's just like a dude that goes to every, it's just like a dude that's always jumping jobs. It's like at some point you got to look at yourself in the mirror, and instead of blaming it on the place that you work for. Maybe you're the problem. That's why you're always getting fired. That's why you're always moving around. I know it's kind of maybe we're talking about hockey here, but like maybe Meek and Kreider, it's kind of a wake up call here. It's like all these players. They never work. Maybe you're the problem.
I mean, I don't really know what they can do as far as line
Right.
combos. You know what, low key, I do two things. I know you don't want to really mess with a lot of things, but I think now it has to be the time where you've put together 4 games where really you're not pressuring a lot and getting a lot of chances.
Yep.
I know they've been good the whole year, but I think Lafreniere's playing way too good, and I think maybe that could spark him. I think I'd go if they insist on playing them together. I would put Lafreniere with Kreider and Zibanejad, and then I would put Hedl with Trocheck and Panarin. He's playing too well. Where I think he could get him going, and he honestly as well. Not only 5, I think he should be in the power play slot for Zibanejad.
Yeah.
I think you put him on the right side, you put Panarin on the left side, and you can run the diamond with a lefty and a righty.
Yeah. The only concern I have with that is similar to what happened, like you said today with Kako, where he just disappears. Like everybody does on the line.
But I think he's playing too well though. Like Kako needs to. I think Kako, you need to put him with a certain players to play well. But I think Lafreniere he can maybe become a player where he can elevate other guys. That's how well I think he's playing. So I would do that. I don't.
He's been great. He's turning into a star. He's been amazing. He's been, where would this team be right now without him?
Yeah,
it's crazy to think. Where would this team be right now without Barkley, Gaudreau, Alexei Lafreniere, Trocheck, and Wenberg? I mean, to be fair, we can't take away all their goal scorers, but specifically like Gaudreau and Wenberg.
I guess if you want to take anything, and I mean anything positive, is that the power play look good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I thought the power play was good. The penalty kill, 2 for 4, wasn't great.
And I
thought their couple kills were good.
The first goal came off of the ending of a penalty, so
yeah.
I mean, you can kind of attribute that to
a little skewed,
power play goal.
And then even even though power play and overtime, not that I'm making excuses for them, but it was bad play by Mika. Wheeler had to kind of take that penalty.
Yeah, I mean, just
Florida had all the momentum. I'm not going to kill the Rangers for that.
Sucked, man. Because if they could have walked out with another win.
Dude, if they would have won this game, it would have been over. Especially Florida losing 3 straight overtime games. There's no coming back from that.
Especially because now, the thing that concerns me about this is, are they going to show? Because I think they could have gone 3 games in a row, and Igor could have won 1 of them. Now he's got to win 2 out of the 3. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, look, if I want to be, maybe this isn't glass half full, but this is exactly what we expected out of the series. We've said it for a while. I mean, I feel like for months now, this was the Eastern Conference Finals matchup that everyone saw coming. We said it all postseason, that all beginning of this series as well. Once Carolina ended, everyone's like Rangers, Panthers, one of those teams in 7. And this is kind of what we expected. If we're trying to be glass half full, we went into Florida saying, all right, at least split, right? Split 2-2, go back to the Garden, take a 3-2 series lead, and then you got 2 games to win 1. Most likely it'd probably be game 7 back at the Garden. And that's exactly where the Rangers are right now. They split at Florida. Now you go back to the Garden, you got to win a home game. You get up 3-2, then all the pressure's back on Florida.
They need to win it. I don't think they're going to win.
You lose game 5, I think you really start to, because depending on how you lose game 5, if it's another one of these games where Igor's on the top and standing on his head, and you still lose 2-1, and it's just man, he's not stealing the game for us, then that gets you really concerned, because it's what more can he do?
They need to win that game.
You mentioned
we need to win. They need to win on Thursday.
Yeah.
They need to win.
Hey, I mean, maybe I came off a little negative, but as we move on here on the podcast, I guess, I mean, and if any of you have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. But if I want to maybe look more optimistic, we said game 2 was a must win after they got shut out in game 1. They won that. Now we're saying game 5 is a must win.
Yeah.
And I mean, too, sort of we said game 6 in Carolina was a must win. So I guess anytime the Rangers this playoff have faced a little bit of adversity, they've been able to overcome it. So here we are. Not that this is a ton of adversity. I mean, they lost 1 game. Not really 2, but you get the point.
It just sucks because like how great Igor played.
Yeah.
They kind of just wasted that where they cannot. Next game, I'm expecting a good game from Igor, but they just can't. It can't be the same thing where they're just getting dominated at the end of the third period and just holding on. That's not sustainable. They will lose the series in 6.
Yeah. These are the type of losses I don't know. My emotions are all over the place after a loss, so I apologize if I'm bouncing from positive to negative. But these are the losses that just make you reflect on the Lundqvist days and why they were never able to get it done with him. Because it's the same stuff that happened with him. They would just sit back and basically pray that he could hold on for the final like 15, 20 minutes of a game, and it would never happen. And that's why they were never able to get it done. And it's this like tonight was the same vibe. The Rangers, up 1-0. Then they tied it 2-2. They just sat back. Okay, just maybe Florida makes a mistake and we capitalize and whatever. But we're going to sit back. We're going to let Igor do all the work. And then we're going to try and pull more overtime heroics out of our rear end. And it didn't happen. So now I think it's 2 things. Number 1, Igor's got to continue to play like this, of course. Number 2, if they want to win this series and moving on from this series too, if you want to look ahead, if they want any chance of winning the cup, they're going to need Mika, Kreider, even Panarin to all play 10 times. I mean, not even 10 times better. They got to be so far better. I don't even think there's an interval for it because they've not 3 of them, other than the Panarin assist today. The other 3 have, like, honestly, you could watch that a game and not even know they're on the ice. That's how bad they've been, especially defensively. Because one thing you could say about Mika and Kreider is like defensively, they're not even good defensively. They're a big reason why the Rangers are getting pinned back in their zone. It's mistakes by them. So that's a problem too. Like at least Mika, during his struggles throughout his career, we've been always saying, oh, he's good defensively. He's good defensively. He makes up for it on defensive end. That's not even the case right now. That's the biggest problem.
The turnovers.
He's literally not doing anything productive.
The turnovers. That's what it is. Like, I mean, that's why they lost, because he made a bad pass, a bad decision.
And
another thing I want to say this is they don't shoot the fucking puck enough. Holy shit. Zibanejad and Panarin refuse to shoot the puck. Refuse.
Is it just me, or do I feel like Panarin, you think the nerves are getting to him a little bit? You think he's like feeling the pressure again?
I think he's just overwhelmed with not the pressure of just the playoffs. It's the pressure of the Panthers. Just
like, yeah,
he's not able to play. He's not able to play his game when you're all in his face, and it's killing him. Like,
that's always been him, though. It's the truth. You make a good point. He only does well with teams that give you space.
And I don't want to say this because obviously we need to win the series, but I mean the Oilers and the Stars, I think he would have a good series against both of them.
Yeah, especially the Oilers.
Especially the Oilers.
He would go to town against Edmonton.
He would have a great series. Even the Stars, I think he'd do well. I think he'd win against the Stars. I don't think the Stars.
Yeah. The only thing I would say about the Stars is Ottinger could steal a game or 2.
That's true.
I don't trust Stuart Skinner, whoever the heck Edmonton's going to roll out there. But
I'm just saying, though, I think either of those teams, they don't bring the same pressure as they have. Like the Stars are a good team, they have good goaltending, good team, but their play style isn't as grindy, physical as the Panthers. I think the Panthers are more grind, like cycling, hitting, pressure. I think the Stars play more of a skilled game, and I mean, I think the Rangers match up well against both those teams, but they don't match up well against the Panthers, and I don't really think they match up well against the Hurricanes. They're just an overly insane advantage in goal. But to be honest with you, Bobrovsky has not been good. So
And that's the bad part.
That's what's kind of keeping them in.
Yeah, and that's the sad, but not the sad part, but that's the disappointing part. Bobrovsky's not been very good, which you've been right about that. 5 goals in game 3. Letting him 5 goals in a playoff game is terrible. But the Rangers only had 23 shots. Like, for a goalie that hasn't been that good and you're only getting 23 shots on him, I better see game 5. I know it's a lot to ask for. 30 shots. I mean, it probably won't happen, but
I guess another positive is, I did get another goal pick.
Yeah, Trocheck.
Yeah, it's over. I'm sorry. Like, I don't even if you got, I don't care about that as much.
I got Kreider in game 5.
I'd laugh.
Oh man, I bought in so much to the Kreider stock.
You bought him when it was you bought when it was high though. You gotta buy when it's low. So maybe if they
I have laugh in game 6 though. Like, I feel like that should come through. But I feel like that might be too late.
Here's the question. Will someone score besides Gaudreau, Trocheck, or Lafreniere? And Wenberg. I'll throw Wenberg in there, even though he's got 1.
Can't forget about Wenberg. Crucial goal.
The other guys all have 2 or 3.
Will another guy score? Yeah, I mean, I would say so.
You know what this is giving me vibes of?
Yeah, Kreider is going to score because I picked him. You watch. It's going to happen.
This is giving me like 2022 vibes.
What do you mean? Like what do you mean by that?
Final where it's 2-2, and I just have a feeling.
Yeah, the only thing about that was I feel a lot more confident 2-2 now. Eastern Conference Final 2022, 2-2. That series was over. That series was over in game 3. Let's be honest here. When they blew that lead, the series was over. I feel more confident in this team, just because they haven't blown a 2-0 lead.
The Rangers have scored. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3 goals in the last 12 periods at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that's
because let's see. So
because they scored 2
in game 5. They scored 1 goal. In game 1 and 2, they combined for 2 goals. Right? They won 2-1. That's 3, right? And then in that game, and the goal in game 5 was in the second period. So let's see. 1, or no, I can count that. So 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's 8. And then if you don't count, I don't know. Well, yeah, that's 3 goals. That's 3 goals in the last 8 periods. So I was a little off. But still, that's got to be better. And I mean, how many goals do they have? 5 on 5, and not counting the overtime goal. You would have to go all the way back to the second period in game 2 against the Hurricanes. They have 1, besides the Trocheck goal, 5 and 5 in regulation. They have 1 goal since the second period of game 2 against the Hurricanes at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it's got to change Thursday.
And they only have, like I said, 3 goals in the last 8 periods at the Garden.
Do you think this series goes 7?
If they win, it goes 7. If they lose, I think they lose in 6.
Really? So you don't think they'll win, and you don't think they'll win game 6 if they win Friday?
If they lose?
Thursday? No, you don't think they would finish out in Florida?
They could. I think they could win in 6 or 7.
Yeah, but I kind of agree though with your first point.
I don't think
I feel like if they win,
they're either going to win in 6 or 7, or they're going to lose in 6. They're not going to lose game 7.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd probably trust them in game 7. I agree though. I think if they win Thursday, I think they're going to win in 7. If they lose Thursday, then they're going to lose in 6. There's no chance
That's
they
what I'm
lose
saying. It's
2
kind of like
straight.
20. It's kind of like
Igor standing
2022.
on his head, and then they're going to blow it in game 6.
It's like 2022 where you go back
And game
home.
6 will probably be ugly. It'll be like 2-1. The offense does nothing, just like Tampa game 6. Like,
Or they
you're
lose.
right. You're right.
They lose like 1-0 on like the flukiest goal of all time.
Ugh.
Like
Yeah,
Igor
and it'd be like in the first period too. It'd be like 2 minutes into the first period. They
no
score
goals for the rest of
1-0.
the game.
Yeah, no goals the rest of the game. Little did we know that was our season.
The Rangers hit like the post on the empty net chance, and Listen, you know what? Fuck it. I said it last time. I'll say it again. I'm guaranteeing Game 5 win.
Hey, yeah, game 2 is a must win. Game 5 is a must win. The Rangers have
listen,
game 6 was a must win in our eyes. The Rangers have won all of the must wins so far. So now we got to win another must win or can't lose, whatever the heck you want to say.
no, I must win. It doesn't. You got to win the game.
Yeah,
Can't losing is stupid. You got to win the freaking hockey game.
You know what? Back to what you were saying about Edmonton and the Stars earlier, and that's what makes this year's Cup run so favorable for the Rangers is whoever they came out of the East.
I think they're way better than the Western. They play the two
Yeah,
best. They play the two best teams in the NHL back to back.
Yeah, that's the point. Is whoever they play in the West would not be better than whoever they play coming out of the East. Like they would be better than the team coming out of the West no matter what, because Carolina and Florida are probably the two best teams
The
to face.
three best teams in the NHL are the Hurricanes, the Rangers, and the Panthers.
Yeah, and you know what else? Am I crazy to say that? And this could still happen, right? Series isn't over. But if they would to go play Edmonton, they win that series in 5.
They would destroy Edmonton.
Yeah.
The Draisaitl's banged up. Their goaltender is fucking terrible. They don't defend well. They're not gonna come out.
We win that in 5.
The Rangers might sweep them. The Rangers would maybe sweep them.
They could sweep them. I think they would. I think Edmonton would. Like McDavid would probably take over one game, and they
Dallas
would
would go 6 or 7 just because of the goaltending and their depth. I think they could lose to Dallas. They would blow out Edmonton.
Yeah.
Like Edmonton would maybe get a lucky game, or maybe, like you said, McDavid kind of got him the game, or Igor had an off night, but they would blow the doors off Edmonton.
Yeah, I agree. They would destroy Edmonton. Yeah, Dallas would probably be 6 or 7. Dallas is tough. Again, too, Ottinger, I could see stealing a game or two.
With Dallas is that I think that they have big guys on the team. I think could play their game way more than they can in this series. Panarin can't. A couple things I want to see though out of the next game is A, they need to get pucks to the net, and B, those two guys, Panarin and Kreider, and Kreider too. Panarin's manager and Kreider, kind of building off what I just said, is that they need to shoot.
Yep.
The defensemen and anybody get pucks on net and shoot first mentality from Zibanejad, Kreider, and Panarin. Need to think, get in, get a lane, and fire the puck. I think they're just and I think like I said, I would mix up the lines. I don't think it's a desperation thing like, oh, they're desperate now. No. I think what they need to do is make sure that they have the best lines that they can win. I would go, like I said, I don't think the defense were bad today. I'll give them that. I just think the forwards were terrible, especially the top line, if you want to consider that the top line. Zibanejad and Kreider I think they refuse to break them up. So I'm not going to really go through that. But like I said, I would put Lafreniere with them. And then I'd put Hedl with Trocheck and Panarin. And then I would probably then go Cooley, Kakko, and Wenberg.
And
then I would honestly take out Roslovic, and I would put Rempe, Gaudreau, and probably Brodzinski.
So Wheeler's one and done.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Wheeler again, and I would definitely not play Roslovic. I honestly think Rempe would be better than anybody else. And like Brodzinski at least can play with some speed. And I just think that the slow sluggishness of Wheeler on top of him being out and having the leg injury for months does not attribute well into a high impact series.
Especially against a team like Florida.
And then on top of that, I think Roslovic is smaller, less grittier than a guy like Brodzinski, where they have a little bit of a similar game where they're kind of fast, and Brodzinski can maybe play a little center if you need that. I trust him in late in the game defensively, so I'd probably do that. I mean, who knows? Maybe they throw a curveball at us and bring Edstrom in and go Edstrom, Rempe,
They
Gaudreau.
could.
But that kind of like leaves you with 10 forwards if they're tied or close in the third period. But better
Yeah, I
than
don't. Yeah,
Wheeler. Better than Wheeler, I think. So we'll see with that. But I don't want Kako anywhere near Zibanejad and Kreider. They ruin anybody, and I think the only person that could kind of fix them, not even Panarin would be god awful if they put Panarin in that line too. I think Lafreniere is the answer.
3 minions up there for freaking 3 guys that don't shoot, 3 guys that can't do anything right now. Put them all in the
I think
same.
I'm telling you, Lafreniere is the answer.
It's like the law of averages. At some point, one of them's got to catch fire, right?
I think Lafreniere is going to be the guy that can get them going, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think if I had to make a guess of what we're going to see, defensive line's the same. Obviously, Igor's in. It's probably going to be second line together. Rempe is probably going to play with Cooley and Gaudreau. I don't think they're going to put Hedl or Rosovic back. I think they maybe give Kako a chance to play with them again. And then I think they go Rosovic, Hedl, and Wenberg. But I would not put Kako because Kako's game, I think, meshes a lot better with a guy like Cooley. I really love when they get going in the cycle. So I would probably put, Wenberg, Kako, and Cooley. And then I guess throw up Rosovic or Hedl, depending on who plays. I don't think they're going to sit Rosovic. So they'll probably just go with the lineup that they did in game 3, where it's just Hedl on the top line, Rosovic, Kako, and Wenberg. But I think that could be a really effective line though. If the Kako and Cooley mesh with each other so well, where they're able to cycle the puck, and it just you get a guy like fucking Zibanejad and Kreider are incapable of winning board battles in cycling the puck, which is a killer against a team like this. And they were getting beaten every puck today, which cannot happen.
Yeah, and they weren't scoring much. 4 guys have scored. They need more than that. Big game tomorrow. We have officially hit that point tomorrow.
That's 12 o'clock.
12:03. So big game tomorrow. Let's see. One comment here. Igor's God. Yeah, pretty much. I agree.
It's gonna feel so bitter if they lose the series and Igor continues to play like this.
Yeah, I can't take.
I think the season is.
freaking Easter Conference.
I'm not gonna say it's a failure, but it's a disappointment.
It's a failure.
It's a disappointment. I wouldn't say failure. It's a disappointment. It was a disappointing season.
I view it as a failure.
I don't think it's a failure if you
Anything
get
less than a cup is a failure.
because you know what though.
Well, it's not a failure.
The Panthers are a good team.
Yeah, but you win the President's Trophy. You got the best goalie in hockey. You had a player with 49 goals.
You would say failure? I don't know. I'd say disappointment.
I would say failure just because how many more years do we have to wait?
Plus, now they got everybody relatively healthy, right? Obviously, guys are banged up, but it's not like some guy tore his ACL and is out for the season, one of your major guys.
Yeah, it's also like, too, this is probably I don't know if it's the easiest path, but just the fact that if they would get to the cup,
this is the hardest path.
Yeah, it's a very tough path. But in terms of the way the Rangers have been able to do it, it's been very low strain. Like they haven't had to go to a game 7 yet. Unlike 2022, yeah, exactly. Unlike 2022, where they had to play
constantly
14
facing
games
elimination.
And
they played what 5 elimination games that they won.
This year it's totally different. So look, to be honest, you don't win this series after being up 2-1 with a chance to go up 3-1 overtime. That to me would linger.
But, if you want, listen, I think we can kind of.
I guess you could look at it and say all these overtime games could have went the other way, but
it's even game 1 could have went the other way. I think they could have won game 1. A couple of those bounces, like the post.
Yeah. How did we lose? They scored more than we did.
My thing is okay. Whatever. This game is in the past. It's in the past, but you got to think it's now or never. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the guys need to come through, the big 3, and I think they got to win on Thursday. But I just think that it sucks because who knows? But I guess in '94 they lost, I think, game 3 in overtime too, or game 4 in overtime. I think they lost game 1 in overtime and they lost game 4 in overtime. Maybe they got blown out, but there was 2-2 going in. They lost at home game 5 and won 6 and 7. It's not out of the equation just because I feel like we're just more down on them when they lose. Like they could end up winning, or losing game 5 and winning 6 and 7. Who knows? But I think at this point, just take one game at a time. Listen, at the beginning of the series, I said this series was going to be back and forth. I said that right from the beginning. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win one. And I just think, ideally, yeah, it's good that you're in a 2 out of 3 series. 2 out of the 3 games would be at home. That's a positive. Igor's been playing unbelievable. Power play is playing better. I'm trying to obviously swing this a little to the more positive note, but I think at the end of the day,
somebody's got to do it.
I keep repeating it. They need the big three guys to come through. Personally, I'd rather them play better, even strength. But I mean, if you can get a power play goal from Zibanejad, maybe that gets them going. But also, I don't think
anyway.
Would you put Lafreniere in Zibanejad? I think I did say it, but like I just want to reiterate. Would you put him in Zibanejad's spot in the power play?
I wouldn't be against it. You know how I feel about Mika. I'm kind of sick of the Mika garbage every year. It's the same song and dance every game.
Wait, you remember the beginning? What was he at in the middle of the season where it was like he hadn't scored like a
he didn't score for like 3 months, 5-on-5. What was it, 78 days or something like that?
He scored like it was like what, the day after like Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah,
and like he didn't score till like March.
Yeah, something stupid like that.
It was
and now he's going through another drought.
3 months in between 5-on-5 goals. It was retarded.
Soon it'll be like November of next year. We'll be talking that he hasn't had a goal since freaking May or early May.
Well, in the playoffs, he's got what, 1 5-on-5 goal, or was the Capitals goal? I think that was also 5-on-5. Might have been power play. I don't remember. I know
his last goal was power play.
It was the spinorama by Kreider, and he scored an empty net. Yeah, it was a power play goal.
So,
you know what? I'm saying this. I'm going to say 2 things. One, they're going to win the game.
Last time he scored a goal was May 5th. He's going on a month here without a goal. He's going on a month. It's May 29th,
Chris Kreider,
and he last goal he scored was May 5th.
Rangers will win. Chris Kreider will score on Thursday. I have faith in Kreider, where he kind of goes, and then I think he comes through in the playoffs. Zibanejad, he's like Zibanejad might score 2.
I have zero faith.
Zibanejad might go and rip like 2 goals, and then the next game we win, or he again will probably just ghost out. I think Kreider's got a better chance, but like I said, they got to shoot the fucking puck. Like you said, they had what, 20 shots, 23 shots, 25 shots today. Yeah.
Wheeler over Brzezinski, we beat ourselves. The Mika.
No, I think the Hurricanes beat us. I think they just grinded us down and caused us to we were tired, and then we made turnovers because they were gassed. But there's no excuse in the overtime.
And this is a good comment here, which he's right. The Rangers can be the better team. The Panthers are a more consistent team. I envy that. Yeah, he's totally right. Panthers are consistent. They come to work every night. They play the same game every night. Rangers can't really rely on that. The one guy that you know is going to be consistent is Igor. That's what you're going to get every single game. What else are you going to get from the team? You really never know. Are you going to get what you saw in game 1 where nobody shows up? Or are you going to get what you saw the last 2 games where they pull overtime heroics out? Or are you going to get what you saw tonight where, once again, the top of the Mika and Kreider, they're very consistent. That's just the way it is. I will take one more final comment here because it is 12:10 and I have to be up in about 6 hours. So we should probably close out. Appreciate all the comments. So we'll take this one. The Rempy line needs to be utilized more to move the puck forward to get it out. We'll have to go out because the 4th line forced an icing and the 2nd line got the ozone face off.
That was a pretty bad icing. The 4th line did have a good shift prior to that goal. So they weren't the problem.
4th line is very good.
I think that Rempy line hasn't been the problem. Wheeler, I'm not a fan of his speed, and I don't really want to talk that much more about Wheeler because I don't think you'll see him again in the playoffs.
The bottom 6 in general has been good. It's been the top outs, it's been the top 6. Really, that's been the issue. You haven't had anything from Mika, Kreider, Roslovic, whatever, Kako as well, whatever combination concoction they're trying to cook up there. And then really, 2nd line, Laffy's been great. Trocheck's had the 2 goals, which is good. But then Panarin, it's the core. It's what we've been talking about. It's 4 goal scorers. None of them have been Panarin, Kreider, or Mika. That's a problem. So that needs to change. But anyway, we wrap it up. Game tomorrow at this point because it's already Wednesday. So
Yeah.
big game tomorrow. Rangers back at home, gotta win it. It's a must win. Whatever you want to use, must win, can't lose, whatever it is. It's a must win. They gotta win it. Get the series back to 3-2. Put the pressure back on Florida. It's a 3-game series now. You have 2 of the next 3 at home. Find a way to win Thursday, and then win 1 of the next 2 and go to the Stanley Cup. So the path is still there. We knew this was going to be a tough series, and it's turning out to be that way. So
Rangers in 7.
Rangers in 7. I agree with that.
7.
And we will be back right after Thursday night. Hopefully, better vibes. Hopefully, after a Rangers win. So talk to you then.